Hey Shooby-Doodlers, how are you doing? Well, I got asked a question today. When and where do I get most of my inspiration and ideas to write stories? I think you have to go back and look at this idea of inspiration. Generally, people have an idea that you get this blinding flash, ding, inspiration, and everything is sorted out. It doesn't really work like that. Sometimes it does. There have been times when I've gone, whoa, I just had a fantastic idea. And it turns out it is a fantastic idea. For every one of those, there's another 100 times where I go, oh, I've just had a fantastic idea and yeah, it's not going to work. I remember when I was in my early 20s and I worked in a screen printing company. I used to do the artwork and I used to drive them mad there because I'd be sitting at my desk doing artwork and thinking, which is what I do a lot of. And every now and then, oh, I've just had this amazing idea. And they'd all go, oh, Lord. And they'd have to listen to me go on about it. Or I'd maybe wait until coffee break and I'd bore the pants off them with all these brilliant ideas I'd had. And of course, 99 out of 100 were not very good ideas. They were just ideas. They were just things that popped into my head. I'm just a person that gets really excited by ideas, I think. But every now and then one comes along, boing, and I think, actually, that is a really good idea. And you get that feeling, and you wait till the next day, and do you still have that feeling? Oh, yes, I do. This is probably a good one. And sometimes you still have that feeling 20 years later. I still got to work this idea out. A really good idea can inspire you to keep going for 20 years or even longer. A really good idea can inspire you to keep going all your life. The other ideas, those little mini inspirations, are just like boing, they're just ideas. And if you do nothing about it, they'll just float away like butterflies and you'll forget all about them, and that's that. But if you write them down, you can always come back and find them. So all those ideas are actually potentially good ideas, but you're maybe not quite ready for them yet. I think I said before, I have a kind of a theory that ideas are living things. They're like viruses almost. They're floating around like COVID, waiting to find the right person to go, gotcha. And they're looking for the right person who has got the skills, has got the experience, has got the mental capacity to take this idea and run with it and do something with it. And maybe it's just the person who doesn't have all those skills and things, but has the network of people, and their skill is knowing how to put together a group of people who are going to create this idea and sort of manifest an idea into something real, whatever it is. So when and where do I have ideas? I have ideas everywhere, anywhere, at any time. I think if you are in an ideas business like I am, and I kind of write children's books and make videos, stuff like that, I think if you're in the creative business, ideas are your raw material. They are your stock in trade, and you need to be at it 24 hours a day. Your dreams are part of that material, that raw material that you need to use. So it is a 24-hour-a-day thing. And if you have that idea, and if it just gives you that kind of feeling, you've got to write it down, because in 2 minutes' time, somebody's going to ask you to go and do some shopping, or you're going to have to catch that bus, or you've got a class to go to, or something like that, and it'll all go. So you've got to make a note of it to remember, what was that idea? And all those little ideas, they build up to create big ideas. So often I've had ideas and I go, oh, what a great idea, what a great idea. No, that's not going to work. But I write it down, and then having written it down, I know it's somewhere in the back of my mind. And then a while later I get another idea. Oh, I just had a great idea. That's not going to work. But hey, that kind of works with that other idea I had. What was that? Look it up in the book. Oh, yeah. And then write it down. And then maybe a year, 2 years, 10 years later, oh, I just had a great idea. Oh, that's not going to work. But what was that idea I had? And you might have to go through 15, 20 sketchbooks to find it. And there it is. And the three things come together. Oh, and those three little ideas come together to make one really good big idea. So all those little ideas are not rubbish at all. They are potential building blocks that will go to create big ideas. And then where do you have these ideas? They can happen anywhere. When you're in Ikea looking at all their furniture, you go, oh, look at the way they've done that. Oh, that gives me a great idea. And you know, the way they set up little rooms in Ikea, you go, oh, I can imagine a character sitting in there. Or, you know, I remember at one point thinking, you know, the Billy bookcases. I thought, who is Billy? You know, maybe he should be a character, and so on. I'm sure other people have had that thought too. It can happen anywhere. It can happen at any time. And for any reason, and quite often I have found it's words, wordplay, things which just trigger something. And you think, oh, twist that around or something, or it just makes you think of something in a different way. And overhearing somebody talking, and it's just like, oh, and it is literally like somebody putting ice down my back. Whoa! When I get that moment and that feeling of inspiration. But that is just the beginning of it. That is just the beginning of it. When, if you want to write a story, you go, oh, you get this great idea for a story, and then you go, and then this happens, and then that happens, and then I'm not quite sure, and so you have to sort of think about it, and then you have to start plotting, and that means you can't wait for inspiration. You have to sit down with a piece of paper, with a pad of paper, with a sketchbook, anything, and you have to start working it out, and that's where most people give up, because they, oh, I can't work that out, and you have to just keep going and keep going and keep going, and have ideas and force all these other ideas to come through and work it out. And once you've got a basic plot, that's the basic plot. Then you need to go and refine your basic plot. You have to go back and work it out again. And all the way along those moments, you get these little bits of inspiration while you're doing that. Oh, yeah, that would be good. If I did that, then that doesn't work. Oh, but if I did that, then that would, and then I could do, and you get these little moments of inspiration along the way. You have to sit down and work at it, though, or else those little moments of inspiration don't come. I've found when you get to the really big block and you think, I can't work this out, then I go for a walk. And there is something about going for a walk, and it's the pace, and go for a walk on your own, that is. And it's the pace and the being in nature, and I don't know what it is. It's the being alone, out in the world. And I think it's that rhythm that you build up as you're walking. And I don't really think about the problem. It's just there in my head, and I'm just looking at the birds and the bees and the trees and stuff, and suddenly, oh, yes, that's how I can do it. And make sure you have a piece of paper or a phone or something you can talk into, so that you remember, because if you keep walking and you've got a mile to get home, you're going to forget it. And you know what it's like when you keep, don't forget what? I've forgotten, what was I meant to remember? Write it down. That is such an important thing, and it's a habit. Inspiration and ideas is a habit. And some people, I don't know, they seem not to have ideas, and they're not bothered, really. I can't imagine that, but I know from experience, people ask me questions and I ask them questions. They can't imagine having ideas all day, you know. And I suppose it's a burden in some ways that you have all these ideas. You have to try and do something with them. And some people can't be bothered. They'd much rather just come home and watch the TV. Fair enough, as long as they want to pick up a book every now and then and read it to their kids. You can get inspiration absolutely anywhere, but you have to be able to sit down and actually work it out. An idea is worthless. I've said this many times. It's what you do with the idea. You have to keep working at it to actually turn that idea into something, manifest it, bring it from an idea up here into a physical thing, an object, a book or a movie or a video or something in the real world. And you can do that anywhere. Some people say, I can't do that. I haven't got a studio, or I haven't got that. You don't need it, but you need a little corner somewhere. Go to the library or something like that. Anywhere you can get a table where you can sit down and work quietly and be left alone. And if you can't do that at home, then you go to the library, or there must be somewhere there'll be some community hall or something like that where there's a little corner where you can sit and work. Cafe, I don't know. Lots of people write books in cafe. J.K. Rowling, she's a multimillionaire. She wrote Harry Potter in a cafe. So you can have ideas and inspiration anywhere, but you must actually sit down and do something about it. I'm lucky. I have this little place at the bottom of my garden, and I can come here every day and work. But this didn't come out of nowhere. I chose to do what I wanted to do, and through my ideas and through my dreams of having a little room like this in a shed at the bottom of the garden, I managed to create it. I manifested. I actually built this little place physically with my hands because this was what I wanted. I had a dream in my head. I had an inspiration. I had an idea. I worked it out on paper. I got the tools. I got the materials, and I built it. And that's what you do when you're creating a book, when you're making a painting. You've got to get the tools. You've got to get the materials. You've got to actually do the thing. You've got to have the skills. You've got to bring it all together. There you go. That's a very long, roundabout way of answering that question. So thanks for watching, and in the meantime, keep drawing, being inspired. And you take care now. I'll see you next time.